And right now, a seismic wave ripples through the state capitol as one of Wisconsin's longest-serving officers calls it quits.
Also, an outstanding arrest warrant is issued for the president of Russia. A list of the charges.
And we're live in Duluth, where the UW women's hockey team is aiming for the Frozen Four championship. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Well, a chilly St. Patrick's Day, and does the weekend look any better? Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti out on the weather patio. Hi, Gary.
Hi, it's blustery and cold out here, and tomorrow will actually be a little bit colder, but at least today we've got some sunshine. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. Early morning clouds moved out, and you can see we've had sunshine for much of the day, but there are more clouds out to the west in western Minnesota and the Dakotas. It'll be heading in our direction for later tonight and tomorrow. Some flurries down to the southwest of us across parts of southern Iowa. Some snow showers downwind from Lake Superior, but most of Wisconsin right now is precipitation free, but temperatures are cold. Here in Madison, we're at 28 degrees. It's 30 in Janesville. Most areas seeing temperatures in the upper 20s, but across Dane County right now, 32 degrees in Edgerton, and temperatures generally in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Wind chills right now are in the teens and 20s because winds are gusting to 25 to 35 miles per hour across southern Wisconsin. There are the wind chills. You can see right now 19 is what it feels like in Madison. Single-digit wind chills up near La Crosse and north of the Dells. Look for skies to be partly cloudy this evening. Temperatures will fall pretty quickly into the upper teens. By morning, we could see wind chills down as cold as about 10 below zero, but later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that does include a warm-up as we head into next week.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Well, a surprise at the state capitol today. Doug LaFollette announcing his retirement today.
He was first elected to that post in 1974 and was just re-elected this past November, starting his 10th consecutive term in office. The move now paves the way for someone new to take over for the politician that is the longest-serving Secretary of State in Wisconsin history.
Political reporter Will Keneally has more.
It's this out-of-the-way basement office where Secretary of State Doug LaFollette kept the state seal. And now, after more than 40 years in office, he says it's time to move on.
Or this meaningless office, with no disrespect intended.
If you haven't heard about the Secretary of State before, don't worry. The office does not do much for the state government besides stamping the state seal on documents to make them official. An office of such little consequence, UW-Milwaukee professor Mordecai Lee joked that he was often at odds with LaFollette when he tried to get rid of the position when he was in the legislature back in the 70s and 80s.
He could have written my testimony, and I could have written his testimony. The recent Republican state legislature eventually came around to agreeing with me that unimportant elected offices should be eliminated.
LaFollette says that the shrinking of his office is part of the reason why he decided to step down now. He says that he was tired of working in an understaffed office. But the woman Governor Evers selected to replace him, Sarah Godlewski, is no stranger to taking the reins of a small basement office. Before running for Senate last year, she was the state's treasurer.
I think there'd be a very smooth transition. And I assume that she'll probably run to be retained in office in the next election.
The governor says Godlewski's appointment will be effective starting tomorrow. Reporting from the Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Well, thank you. Godlewski will serve out the remainder of LaFollette's 4-year term, and her appointment will not have to be confirmed by the state Senate. The Badger women's hockey team is under an hour away from dropping the puck on their Frozen Four semifinal match against rival Minnesota.
Sports director Zach Hanley joins us live from Duluth. Zach, the Badgers don't have a lot left to do to get ready for this one, right?
Yeah, that's right. No, physically, Wisconsin is ready for this game. They've grinded through a season that started all the way back in September. They fought through a little adversity along the way, and now they're a win away from playing for a national championship. And for that, heading into the Frozen Four semifinal matchup against the Gophers, the biggest thing for Mark Johnson is having the Badgers just clear their minds, go out, and play free.
Clear all those distractions and clear that space, so they're just focused in on going on the ice and doing what's important in between the boards, because that's all that matters. All the other stuff and talk and things that we do doesn't help the outcome.
We've really found our game, and I think you can tell if you watch us playing games or you watch us practice. Like, we all have smiles on our face. It's so freeing.
Now, you know the saying, look good, feel good, play good? Well, you just heard the Badgers say they feel good. They looked good walking in on the red carpet to the arena before tonight's game. All that's left to do is play good. Guys?
All right, Zach, reporting live from Duluth. Thank you. Americans have growing concerns about the safety of their bank accounts. Turmoil continues to rock the stock markets, and today President Biden says Congress needs to learn to get past the partisan divide to restore confidence in the banking system.
I agree with the Speaker. There's no reason why we can't find common ground. There's no reason why we can't hope to change this direction of the extremism both our parties are pushing.
Today, the president called on Congress to pass tough new penalties on executives of failed banks. The administration says it wants to expand the FDIC's ability to get back compensation from executives who lead failed banks. It also wants to be able to bar them from holding future jobs in the industry and to impose civil fines against them. Meanwhile, investors continue to sell their banking shares.
These were the banks that were, say, between $50 and $250 billion of depositor assets that wanted a lower level of regulation. And now that lower level of regulation may be biting them in the you-know-where.
11 of America's largest financial institutions had to step in today with $30 billion to keep First Republic from collapsing. And as the banking industry nationwide has had a week full of turmoil, Wisconsin banks have a message that is, things here are safe at home.
Naomi Cole spoke to the Wisconsin Bankers Association. And Naomi, why the message of safety?
Yeah, and a large part of that message is because the Wisconsin economy itself, it's doing well, and therefore so are our banks. The executive I spoke to speaks for basically every bank in Wisconsin and says they are on a much different playing field than the Silicon Valley Bank in California and Signature Bank in New York that collapsed. Those banks operated in different sectors, and while for many people here at home there may be fears based in 2008's recession, Dylan Lund tells me that's just not the case here.
Their business model was much different than Wisconsin banks. What we like to say is in Wisconsin, the vast majority of our deposits are invested locally. So if you start looking at manufacturing, the tourism industry, agriculture, mortgages, we're very much diversified. And so from this strength of Wisconsin banks is really dependent upon the strength of Wisconsin's economy.
And for those remembering 2008, Lund also mentioned that was the housing bubble that contributed to that collapse, and that's something we are just not seeing signs of here. We get much deeper into this conversation, and that's on Sunday, For the Record, at 10:30.
We'll see you then, Naomi. Thank you. Middleton police arrested a woman on Tuesday night who they say broke into an apartment and attacked an elderly resident. Officers were called to the 6200 block of Maywood Avenue for a report of a disturbance. Police said a 20-year-old Madison woman was seen climbing down from the patio of an apartment. A 77-year-old resident told officers that the woman had climbed up to the patio and damaged a sliding door before attacking and injuring her as she sat in a recliner. Police say the resident and woman do not know each other, and the break-in appears to be random.
The International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin, accusing him of being responsible for war crimes committed against Ukrainian children by taking them over the Russian border.
Russia has repeatedly denied the accusations, and it does not recognize the ICC's jurisdiction. CBS News correspondent Astrid Martinez reports.
The International Criminal Court has issued a warrant for the arrest of Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Hague-based court says Putin is allegedly responsible for the war crime of unlawful deportation of children from occupied areas of Ukraine to the Russian Federation. The ICC judges also issued a warrant against Russia's Commissioner for Children's Rights, accusing her of similar crimes.
The judges have reviewed the information and evidence submitted by the prosecutor and determined that there are credible allegations against these persons for the alleged crimes.
The court's president said it will be up to the international community to enforce the warrants, which is not likely. Moscow has denied the accusations and dismissed the move, while Ukraine welcomed it as a major breakthrough. Earlier this week, an unmanned U.S. drone crashed into the Black Sea after a mid-air confrontation with Russian fighter jets. Nora O'Donnell spoke with the Navy's top officer for 60 minutes this Sunday.
What happened with that drone over the Black Sea was unsafe, and it was unprofessional, and it was in violation of international law.
Against that backdrop, Chinese President Xi plans to visit Moscow for the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine. The U.S. has expressed concern China is considering providing lethal aid to Russia. Poland and Slovakia, meanwhile, have committed to sending fighter jets to Kyiv, the first time NATO allies have agreed to provide jets to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia. Astrid Martinez, CBS News.
And CBS News has learned the U.S. is reassessing its drone operations over the Black Sea and whether the intelligence collection is worth the risk of escalation.
On this St. Patrick's Day, Ireland's Prime Minister paid a visit to the White House. Leah Varadkar and President Biden had a full day on their agenda, as St. Pat's is widely known to be one of President Biden's favorite holidays to celebrate his Irish heritage. At the annual Friends of Ireland luncheon, President Biden recalled growing up around his Irish grandparents and credited them with instilling in him values that he still holds dear. St. Patrick's Day is widely known, as we said, to be one of his favorites. The Prime Minister thanked members of Congress for helping broker a peace between Ireland and Northern Ireland and gave a shout out to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Everyone in Ireland is proud that an Irish American holds the Speaker's gavel, and we wish you the very best in your term as Speaker, and I look forward to working with you on areas of common interest.
And back in Ireland, up to 450,000 people turned out at the National St. Patrick's Day Parade in Dublin today. The parade with the theme, We Are One, and 4,000 participants highlighted a unifying global culture and reflected values including community, diversity, and sustainability. Madison's leprechaun was out and about today and made his way to the neonatal intensive care unit at St. Mary's Hospital to visit some patients. Joe Herr has been visiting hospitalized children every St. Patrick's Day for years to bring much-needed smiles to families' faces during their most vulnerable times. The cause is close to Herr's heart, as his son, Logan, was cared for at St. Mary's before passing away 21 years ago.
Logan's life was a true gift and blessing, so I can relate, understand, and serve these families. And his experience has taught me to be able to have both myself and others touch these families in a way that's needed.
Madison's leprechaun not only spreads joy to hospitalized children, but also founded a nonprofit organization called Logan's Hearts and Smiles that's dedicated to serving families of children with disabilities.
Way to go, Joe. That's great.
It is great. Coming up next, see what happens when a nor'easter dumps a ton of snow on a Vermont homeowner.
And we're heading back to Duluth to see what the fans are doing tonight at the Frozen Four.
Investors on Wall Street still worried about the nation's banking situation, not baking. The Dow Industrials fell 384 points, ending the week at 31,861. The NASDAQ lost 86 points. The S&P 500 slipped 43. And we'll be right back.
Get the absolute best pricing now during Ashley's anniversary event. We've marked down everything to match online prices, all backed by our 30-day price guarantee. Get your choice of 6 months interest-free financing or low monthly payment options and free local delivery, only at Ashley.
It's time to march into deer season. Get your John Deere 1025R with a 120R loader for just $195 per month. Get a John Deere now and
power up at Sloan's.
Think Sloan's first.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living, and through no fault of their own, they're being left behind? If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Come to Slumberland and get 20% off our beautiful new furniture and decor during our Spring Spruce Up event. We've got fresh new looks, like sleek new upholstery for your living area, plus extra discounts on recliners, patios, Sealy mattresses, and sectionals, including our new super versatile modular sectional. Get an extra 20% off Slumberland low prices during our Spring Spruce Up event right now at Slumberland Furniture. And check out our easy new mattress rating system to get you in your perfect bed.
Two candidates for Supreme Court, two very different beliefs. Judge Janet Protasewicz
She believes women should have the freedom to make their own decisions on abortion. Extremist Dan Kelly? He supports the 1849 law that takes away women's rights and criminalizes abortion, even in cases of rape, incest, and health of the mother. So who represents you? An extremist or a common sense judge? Vote by April 4th.
Run with Sloan's on a John Deere X350, built for taking it easy. Get yours for $57 per month with 4.9% for 60 months and nothing down. Get a John Deere now and
power up at Sloan's.
Think Sloan's first.
Celebrate Ashley's anniversary with our lowest mattress prices of the season. Get your best night's sleep on Purple, Tempur-Pedic, Serta, and more. All backed by our 30-day price guarantee and special financing options that fit your budget at Wisconsin's #1 mattress retailer, Ashley.
A UW-Platteville teacher is taking what she learned after a devastating earthquake in Turkey and turning it into knowledge for her students. Her story tonight on News 3 Now.
Join us tonight at 5:30.
The candidates for Madison mayor face off. News 3 Now, channel3000.com, and the Cap Times present a debate between Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway and challenger Gloria Reyes.
Watch live streaming March 27th and replayed March 28th on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Parts of North Texas are cleaning up after severe thunderstorms swept over the region.
The National Weather Service has confirmed that a tornado ripped through part of Irving, Texas during Thursday's storms. The EF1 storm had winds to be between 105 and 110 miles per hour. Homes were damaged, trees uprooted along with the winds. Golf ball-sized hail fell in the area, adding to the damages.
In Vermont, we're seeing what happened earlier this week when a nor'easter hit near Greensboro. 8 feet of snow piled up around this house, prompting the owner to compare it to the Star Wars Rebels base on the icy planet of Hoth. He had to tunnel a path to the front door, and he can't even see out into his yard. The National Weather Service said more than 2.5 feet of snow was recorded in some areas. What do you do if you have dogs like you do?
I don't know. That's a lot of snow.
Well, the Badger women's hockey team faces off in the Frozen Four in about 45 minutes.
And they will do that in front of a fan base that followed them to Duluth, and that's where we find our Armand Rahman. What's going on there?
Yeah, guys, this is exactly like the ice planet of Hoth, like you were saying. A lot of snow coming down, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Didn't bother the fans. You saw on the red carpet there, they were electric, and I would say they're pretty confident for a win here tonight. The 310 pub nearby Amsoil Arena in Duluth was filled with the red and white for the Badgers bash before the girls take the ice at 6. A dad was there with his young girls, hockey players themselves, and he says he hopes that they're inspired and excited to see their role models play tonight.
I think it's just important for them to see hockey at the next level, actually at pretty much the highest level for girls hockey, and you know what they have to look forward to, and it's pretty cool for them to see it coming from the state of Wisconsin.
And they were also excited to see their friend and fellow Eau Claire native, Sid Polson, the team's equipment manager. And if you guys thought those people were fans, well, I got some super fans to show you later on tonight at 10 o'clock who follow not just the Badgers, but the Frozen Four across the country. I'll hear from them tonight. For now, live in Duluth, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
No better place to have the Frozen Four than Duluth.
Look at that snow.
Armand, thank you.
Thanks, Armand.
Well, now a check of the standings of the News 3 Now Bracket Challenge.
Okay, as of the end of the Pitt versus Iowa State game, the Live at 4 crew is tied for first place with 15 points. Those dogs can pick them.
There must be a miscount. Yeah. Nobody on staff correctly picked the upset in that one, so the morning team and Eric and Charlotte also 15 points. Zach Hanley, our sports director, is lagging behind with 14 points. Keep you posted on that. Let's get a look now at your first war and forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has a look at that.
Oh, the humanity. Those brackets. That's all the talk has been about today. Well, taking a look at the Climate Prediction Center monthly outlooks that just came out yesterday for the month of April, they're calling for above normal temperatures for much of the eastern and southern parts of the country, with the west staying colder than normal, and an active storm track will continue through parts of the deep south and into the Midwest with above normal precipitation expected. The 3-month outlook for the second quarter of this year for April, May, and June. Also calling for above normal temperatures pretty much in the same area, although the north central part of the country is expected to see below normal temperatures. And again, usually in that contrast zone, you see above normal precipitation, and that's exactly what is expected. So it could be a wet spring across much of the upper Midwest and the Ohio Valley. Three things you need to know in our forecast. Look for a windy and cold day tomorrow. Today's windy and cold, but at least we had some sunshine. Tomorrow we'll have clouds and maybe even a couple of overnight or early morning flurries. Then we get sunshine to return on Sunday. It'll be breezy and milder with high temperatures back up to around 40. And it'll be mild with high temperatures in the 50s beginning on Tuesday and lasting into Thursday. As we check out Doppler track, you can see lake effect snow is still downwind from Lake Superior. Some flurries to our south and west across parts of Iowa. Right now, we're going to stay dry until a few of these snow showers that are actually north of Lake Superior drop southward. That'll probably reach us late tonight and early tomorrow morning. It's actually a reinforcing shot of cold air. And the winds are pretty strong. These are current wind gusts, 28 miles an hour in Madison, 38 miles an hour in Dubuque, Iowa. Many locations seeing winds in the 30 to 35 mile per hour range. These are the peak gusts so far today. You can see some of the gusts up into the 40 to 45 mile per hour range. They should come down a little bit tonight, but it'll still stay pretty brisk through the day tomorrow. The northern part of the Midwest continues to see heavy amounts of snow on the ground. Of course, that was just reinforced by the snow that fell over the last couple of days, about 2.5 feet up toward the Duluth Superior. And as you saw with Armand, we got more snow falling up there. Here in the southern part of the state, we picked up very little snow last night, and we'll probably start melting what snow there is on the ground as we head into much of next week. A little bit of snow to the south and west, but again, that'll melt pretty quickly and allow temperatures to warm up here pretty quickly once we get the upper level winds back to a southwesterly direction. That's not the case right now. They're coming in from central Canada and blowing right into the Midwest, so that'll keep us cold. Planning your night across Dane County, look for lows in the teens. 14 for the low in Mount Vernon, 14 in Marshall, 13 in Madison. You factor in the winds and wind chills, at times will drop to just below 0. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, 15 for the overnight low in Janesville, 15 in Lone Rock, and 13 for the low in Camp Douglas. Tomorrow, look for skies to be mostly cloudy. It'll be windy and cold. Maybe a couple of flurries early in the morning. High temperature, only 24 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees below average. But again, a quick warm up back to around 40 on Sunday in our first warned 7 to 10 day forecast. Upper 40s Monday, and now lower 50s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Mid 50s on Thursday. Maybe we might even see a thunderstorm in there as well on Thursday, but it'll be windy and mild, and then temperatures will turn a little cooler toward the end of the week, bringing it back to around normal or a little bit below, with some rain shower chances as we head into next week. As we take a look at the first horn traffic right now, here's the view of the Beltline. This is at John Nolan Drive. You can see traffic moving pretty steadily. A pretty nice day overall traffic-wise for St. Patrick's Day. Just a little bit of a slowdown in the eastbound Beltline around Monona Drive. Otherwise, travel time's about a 14 to 15-minute trip either way on the Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 24 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990. US 12, Middleton to Sauk City will take you 16 minutes today. And downtown to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue, US 151 is a 17-minute commute. That's your News 3 Now First Warn traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary. Coming up next, sleep disorders following COVID. They're more common than expected. What can be done? We'll have the story when we return.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Fry Construction invites you to celebrate spring with our big spring thaw sale. We're talking about savings of 23%. Many of your neighbors already know how we strive to meet and exceed expectations with each and every project. That's why they voted us Best Roofer 3 years in a row. Experience the best of Madison for yourself with Fry Construction. Get on board with our spring thaw sale. Save 23% off gutters or insulation with any full roofing project. Schedule your consultation today at fryconstruction.com.
It's easier to manage my chemo side effects since the Grace Supportive Care came to see me. They're taking the time to listen and talk about options for feeling better.
A Grace, caring every step of the way. Create your perfect room for entertaining, relaxing, and more with patio enclosures. Right now, get 25% off your sunroom. Plus, enjoy exceptional financing. Call today.
Patio Enclosures. It's Steinhoffel's Dream Vacation Giveaway. Get in and test rest a Beauty Rest Black mattress for your chance to win a trip to sunny Hawaii. And right now, save $300 on your Beauty Rest Black mattress. Plus, get $200 in Steinhoffel's cash. Beauty Rest Black mattresses start at just $44 per month when you use Steinhoffel's 72-month financing. So save big and rest easy on your new Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhoffel's. Shop in-store or online today.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1800gotjunk.com.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, the mystery to the origins of COVID-19 pandemic now has some new clues.
International scientists have found dog DNA commingled with other genetic material in samples collected in early 2020 at a seafood market in Wuhan, China. That is shortly after the first cases were detected in that city.
This could mean that the pandemic originated from animals, not one of the labs near the market. And a study in the Journal of Sleep Research shows just how common sleep disorders are for people hospitalized with long COVID.
Half reported struggling with insomnia, and on this World Sleep Day, experts want to bring awareness to the toll on both your physical and mental health. Michael George has the story.
When Priya Matthew recovered from a mild case of COVID-19 in November, she thought she was out of the woods. Then came long COVID.
At one point, I counted 23 symptoms. The most alarming ones were shortness of breath, labored breathing, heart palpitations.
One of the most crippling symptoms was insomnia.
Nothing worked. I would just lie awake in agony all night, and it felt like electric shocks going through my body from my head down to my toes.
Dr. Emmanuel During has been seeing that in sleep patients at Mount Sinai Hospital. For those with long COVID, he says insomnia is often related to pain and is resistant to treatment.
Pain which can occur at night as well, and a lot of autonomic imbalance, autonomic impairment, which is the ability of our body to control heart rate and blood pressures. That can lead to episodes of palpitation, night sweats.
Even for those without long COVID, the pandemic has robbed Americans of their beauty rest. In a 2022 survey, nearly a third said they'd experienced sleep disturbances since COVID began. That's down from 56% the year before, a phenomenon described as COVID-somnia. Priya Matthew shared her battle in a column for Axios.
When you're so sleep deprived, how does that impact your day?
I mean, I couldn't work for a month, at least. Any little task took way too much energy. Just taking a shower, I had to rest for, 3 hours after that.
Doctors say it's critical to stick to your best sleep hygiene, regular bedtimes, and no screens late at night, with the hope that as the pandemic fades, we'll all get the sleep that's so essential to our health. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And we'll have a final check of your first warning forecast when we come back.
The semi-truck was behind me. I saw the impact coming.
Jose was seriously injured when he was hit by a semi-truck.
Once you call them, that's all. Your goal is to help you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Every time I needed something, they had an answer.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Give any room a fresh look with Mohawk Tile. Mohawk features ceramic, porcelain, and mosaic glass tiles to fit any decor. Pick up Bloomfield Hexagon tiles for only $139 each after 11% rebate. Complete your tiling job with professional installation products from Tech. Unique Power Grout formula is highly stain resistant and never needs sealing. Power Grout is only $18.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Could I get the Galley Buster burger? Onions, caramelized. But actually, could I get those raw? Olive. You want the best burger of your life? Gotta be Superior.
Fjords has been crafting beautifully designed functional furniture since 1941. Every aspect of Fjords furniture has been carefully engineered to create a higher level of relaxation. Right now at the Century House, purchase any Fjords furniture and receive up to 20% off. All models, all sizes, all colors. Experience the unmatched relaxation you can only achieve in Fjords furniture. Relaxation made beautiful. Visit the Century House at 3420 University Avenue in Madison or online at centuryhouseinc.com.
Scott was seriously injured and needed Gruber Law Offices.
One call, that's all, means that you're going to be taken care of, and you get a sense of assurance that everything's going to be okay.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Pretty cold out there. 28 in Madison, 30 in Janesville, most areas in the 20s. We'll look for low temperatures in the middle teens tonight with wind chills down to around 0.
All right, thanks, Gary. Stay tuned for News 3 Now at 6, immediately following this newscast.